morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. God bless you. Thank you for patronizing my channel. My name is Pastor Yemi Omogboyega, your good friend. And thank you indeed for subscribing to my channel if you have done so. If you haven't, hey, what are you waiting for? Love me, by subscribing to my channel. Press the like button so that others like YouTube itself will recommend me to others. Then press the notification button so that you get to know when I upload new videos. At least these days I promise to release 2 videos a day minimum. And this is the second one for today. And remember, please, when I see your comments, I can learn so much, whether by way of criticism, by way of commendation, by way of advice, or whatever. I'm a man that is open to learning all the time. So let's hear your comments. Then, uh, lest I forget, please share our videos widely, widely, very, very widely. God bless you. I just want to have a quick talk on the topic that says, whatever I teach or preach to you, I do myself. Whatever I preach or teach to anybody, check it out in my life. There are things that I do. I'm not a man or that says, do what I say, but not as I do. Mm-mm-mm. I'm a man of do what I say and do what I do. That relates me to what happened to me this morning. I laughed. Initially, I wanted to be upset, but I thank God because I have what I can call good conscience and I have good defense. Because in this world, I always relate as if it is financial matter, I relate as if the EFCC is there investigating me. What would they find? I have been to EFCC before. I am alive today. EFCC has no stake over me because you cannot pin me down to any form of atrocity because I will never have resolved from my youth. I will never in my life sit down, either in private or public, and contemplate in my heart any evil plot to defraud or to have a kind of antisocial behavior. Never, never in my life. Because I've learned, just like the Bible says, godliness with contentment is great gain. And that is true of what my life is. I'm always citing the examples, including the video I just released this morning. I talked about, what was that topic about again now? I talked about the water you are drinking may be your greatest enemy. And in that video, I cited the example of the research I personally carried out over myself and the outcome I released to the public. I know some of my friends who felt, this man, You have no privacy. Everything about your life you reveal to the public. I just some will even say, okay, as you don't have privacy, maybe what you if we discuss anything with you, you make it public. I'm sure my friend who we discussed this morning will wonder whether that is what I am doing now. No, 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 no. In every situation of life, there is a lesson to learn by the entire world. And it is our experiences that will bring about these lessons that will profit humanity. What is happening to me, if you know how I handle it, it may help you to handle similar situations. That is why in law, before they arrive at any decision, they will say, has there been any precedent? If there is precedence, then that is a case that is having the same set of facts, the same set of issues or whatever that and the decisions that were arrived at on those matters. It's like, okay, don't let us beat about the bush. Let us follow that. Unless there is circumstances that has negatived that previous decision, you will not find a new decision. The court will rely on the precedents and to arrive at a decision. But if there is a situation where that case has just the minutest thing that distinguishes it from the previous ones that can now lead to a new decision, which will also become a precedent for future decisions, then the court may distinguish that case, use the precedents of the ones that are relevant to it, and then on the new issue that generated or that arose from the new case, they can now decide on that. So, Yoruba will say, Afọgbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n kọ́gbọ́n. Báwo náà ṣe máa ń sọ I nearly forget. That is, ọgbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n kì í jẹ́ kán pe àgbà ní wèrè. Nobody, that is, someone who learned from the experiences of others will know how rightly, how appropriately to tackle similar situations in his life. You understand? These are the basis upon which, now the second thing about life is, why are you releasing your privacy? Look, there is no privacy anymore. What I will urge you, what I will advise you is please, please, please do not go into any antisocial behavior. You will be found out. There is no hiding place anymore. In those days, in your organizations, somebody can have more than 20 ages. As they are moving closer to retirement, some can go as far back as bringing their age, but reducing their age by as much as 5 years, as much as 10 years. Gradually, I had an example of one gentleman, Papa, in my office in those days. He was a gate man. We were entering the same staff bus together. And this Baba, nobody knew that he was already over 70 and he was supposed to retire at, I think, 55 then, before it became 60. And this man had not clocked in practice. I mean, by his real age, is over 70. By his book age in the office, he's not yet clicked 55 years. So, one morning, and he has had this tendency, when you are old, you tend not to blend well with people anymore, with the younger generation. There are some things maybe from your experience makes you feel that, you just be quarreling with people. This man is always quarreling in the bus. So, one day, the bus came, we got to his bus stop, the man was not there. So, we left. And by the time we got to the office, we just had the sad news that he had passed away. And by the time the funeral arrangement was to be made known to the public, they got, it was already 70 because he has been altering his age. At work, he's not 70 and he's even working against his nature. Whereas people like us, I wanted to retire at age 45 because of children education or whatever. I had to sacrifice additional 6 years to ensure that these children are beginning to graduate because I had to pay heavy school fees. And why? What was my consideration for wanting to retire early? I want to leave the stage when the ovation is louder. Anything I cannot do for myself before 50, then let me go and do it outside. Is it business? Let me go and do it outside. Is it money I want to raise? Let me go and raise it outside. Let me give room to those children. I have children too who will be seeking for employment. And I give glory to God today. There's none of my children that's not gainfully employed. I give glory to God. So that is about just an example. Do not ever, okay, the man that altered his age when death came and took him away, his real age came to be. But today, there's no hiding place for you anymore. Those of you are changing your ages. I thank God for my life from the very beginning of my life till I retired. When I tell you my age, 67 years, it is fraud that is making you to say, oh, no, my age is secret. It's private to me. It is personal. It is my private affairs. It means you have been altering something somewhere. You want to claim you are older than somebody. Fraud. You don't want to retire early. Maybe you have lied in your records and you don't want people to know your age. Or you have so number of children. You are hiding the number. Maybe you have had excessive number of children that you know that when people hear that number, they will look at you as irresponsible. That's the truth. You can't hide anymore. You have children, so tell you cannot remember to take care of your parents, you cannot remember to take care of your siblings, you have no contribution to anybody other than your own family. Even though that's your own family, you have created problems in the future for them. You have 10 children. Before the first one graduates, in fact, maybe you struggle to train him up to school start or university level. Before he starts work, you have loaded him with this responsibility of taking good care of the want of training, for instance, which is your own responsibility for who brought them out to this world. You put that body upon your first or second born or so on and so forth, as they are, you found that you are transferring poverty, agony, pain, sorrow to your children. You are a wicked father. You are a wicked mother. Oh, God will take good care of them. Foolish person. You don't want to take responsibility for a few number of children. You want God to take responsibility for indiscriminate number that you produced. And then you want to be, putting them, you take this one to your brother, you take this one to your niece, you take this one to your brother, auntie, you take this one to your nephew, as if they don't have responsibility. You impose it on them, not that they are willing. If your brother or sister calls you and say, come, let your child come and be with me, I will train him or something like that, that's a different thing. But when you begin to count the number of people you consider that are doing well in your family, and then you are distributing one child or two to them, or they finish training one, you add another one, another, as if they don't have a world of their own, then something is wrong with you. Many of us as fathers, we are very wicked. I'm saying it today. Children of today, you youths below 40 or around 40, if you want to marry responsibly and don't have too many children. The world of today does not require you to have more than 2 children. Children don't die except for maybe, God forbid, terminal diseases, accidents, But in the natural sense of as bad as Nigeria may appear to be medically, children don't die as they used to die when there was no care at all. So why are you breeding problems to the society by just populating it? In 1960, Nigeria had 43 million. In that 1960, UK had, I think, about 90 million. I can't remember. Google it, you'll get it there. I think I've done a video on this before. By 2023, 2024, Nigeria has 230 plus million plus population. Then UK that colonized us and that had all the powers and everything, they had, I think, less than, I can't remember now. Please Google it. Population of UK as at um, 2024. What you will see will shock you. They are still less than, let me just be very, very conservative, let me be very, very generous. They are still less than 80 million today. But you already had hit 230 million people. 230 million people that cannot take good care of themselves, that are living below poverty level. People that have up to 500,000 in their account today, they are not up to 5% of the population. So why bring them to this world? So that's food for thought. That's not the topic for now. Now, this morning, I received a call from the man for whom I had respect, my very neighbor, next door neighbor. Very, very, I mean, this is a man that he has contributed so much to make our neighborhood accessible in terms of construction of roads, no, construction of bridge that enable us to link up with the outer community in my town. And this is a man that had been very, very helpful to the community. And you hardly could know himself, myself, and one other person who had a landed property in that community. I mean, opened up the streets to the outer community by constructing that bridge. And he took the lion's share of that project. And the project was close to 1 million naira then. And the total cost, I mean, myself and that my other relative who had a landed property there, but has not even developed it up till now, contributed 400,000. He bought the rest alone. That is how one of the greatest contributions he made to that community. And I too, in my own ways, I contributed things that are of eternal, so let me put it that way, value there, that will bring comfort to us. I don't want to be mentioned there so that I won't be as if I'm singing my praise. Let me just talk about that one alone. So he called me up this morning. I was, unlike him, very furious. Hello, daddy. I'm so angry, this and that. I mean, one way or the other, you can see from his tone, and he has never been like that. And he said, the trees you planted in your... No. He started by saying that there are bushes, I mean, that has climbed the fence, all these ropes and all that, whereby My compound is littered and all that. And I am not happy about it. I brought in visitors, this and that, and my compound looks the opposite of what it should be. I was wondering. So after some time, he landed, but on a note of anger. He even went as far as, oh, but you are a lawyer. You know you know, what it means for whatever you are doing to affect your neighbors negatively. And by that, I laughed and I said, okay, thank you, my very dear brother. I know you. You have been somebody that I respect so much. You are a great contributor. You are somebody that is of immeasurable value to the community, especially you and I. Every other person, they are doing their own bit to the best of their abilities, but we could all do better. Then I came down, I said, in the first place, this is the rainy season. You cannot control nature. Bushes will grow. Bushes will grow. We need to take care of them. And I have never been found wanting in doing that because I'm so conscious. Because we live close to nature. The place our buildings are is a place that is infested with dangerous animals like snakes. We kill snakes all the time. I left home about a month ago, and 2 days before I left home, we killed two snakes under the orange tree that I planted in my compound. Two together. They were actually mating, and both of them were killed. In my compound, there are several days that we'll see very long snakes, those dangerous ones. I even suspect them to be python, minor, but the small ones that will be as long as 12 feet, 15 feet, that will crawl past my compound and will disappear somewhere. In my compound, within the last 5 years or so, we have killed 6 feet long cobras, up to four of them. Cobras. And we've killed all sorts of species of snakes in my compound. I was farming in my compound. I knew that during this rainy season, it is difficult to control the weeds. Then at a stage, I knew that I would not be able to have the capacity to weed as often as it should require. So I decided to plant trees that will grow so that bushes will not grow under them. Thick bushes will not grow under them. And then even as at the time before I moved into my house, I had planted palm trees, about 20 of them from where we make um, palm oil. I'm a man of nature. There's nothing, hardly any basic thing that you need in terms of fruits, vegetables that you will not find in my compound. Coconut, oranges, or different species, like lemon, like whatever, just name them. Cocoyam. Sometimes I used to plant like 500 heaps of yams in my compound. and I make palm oil in my compound, and I made gari in my compound. I I rear grass cutters, courtesy of one of my brothers who actually put the capital down for us to do it, thinking we thought that it would work. And I'm a poultry farmer. Inside the same compound, you find a church building. So these are the things that, and many more that are in my compound. That's the type of person I am. I'm busy. Then, as per there was a time that the fence between us, which he constructed, collapsed, and it fell into my compound. Very good neighbor and very good brother of mine, I would say. I called him. I said, let us see how to tackle this thing. Please clear the debris and replace the fence. That's how good he is. Without arguing, he did it. And then, after he had finished reconstructing the fence, what did I do? I went to the base of the fence and concreted everything so that whatever wind is blowing in the future will not affect that fence anymore. I don't think he knew about that until today when we were talking. And I mentioned it that even the fence that you constructed is not your effort alone. It is a collaborated effort that we did. And I was the one that paid to clear the debris from my compound. And that fence is about 240 feet long. You can imagine the volume of the debris and inside that debris, snakes, cobra, everything were manifesting there all the time. They hibernate there and they are producing there until I got the malams and people in this world to come and clear the whole thing. That's who I am. Because, and so I explained that just by way of reminding. Then there's one issue. I said to him, I knew the source of what you are saying. You have a tenant, an elderly woman, should be in maybe in her 60s or something, living in that compound, in his compound, that is always fabricating stories around us. If she sees a snake, it is us that raised it. And interestingly, because my palm trees, some of them, the hands will get into their compound. I trim them all the time. And incidentally, even recently, I had to kill the ones that are extending to the compound. I needed those palm trees, but I had to destroy them for the sake of my neighbor's safety. Or this woman will not give up. And what is causing the problem? Initially, she started by trying to fraternize with us. I don't fraternize with people that are not of my caliber. I relate with them, but I don't move too close to them because I know the implications. They come for one thing today, they come for one thing tomorrow. The day you say no, you are in trouble. I try to prevent that. This is a woman that eyes almost everything we planted in the compound. Come and give us coconut. Come and give us oranges. Come and give us this. Come and give us that. If I want to dash things out, when I harvest them, I give to people in the community myself. But I don't encourage people trooping into my compound to say, okay, you want to harvest this, you want to harvest that. If people are reasonable, what will be my gain if I spend money, spend time, and all these things are ready? You don't even allow me to taste it because I'm been doing philanthropy. That's foolishness. I don't tolerate it. Oh, you want to borrow this, you want to borrow that. It is these things that create terrible problems. A wise man sees trouble ahead and flees. But the foolish one will run into it in the name of, oh, we want to be nice to one another. My Christianity does not get to that level because I know the implications. And because we are saying no to some of these things now, it is beginning to can look at find faults with us. We are the one now rearing snake. When we kill more snakes in our compound than the next compound. And incidentally, my neighbor, the owner of the house that we talk together, is not home to witness all these things. But the tenant will be feeding. The leaves of the tree will fall. Oh, it's littering our compound. Which one is better? Allow trees to drop leaves around. Ordinarily, we all sweep our compounds. Why should that be a point of reporting to your landlord that this man's trees? And I went ahead again. All the trees that are close to the fence that could be a safety or security threat or something, I I fell all of them prematurely because I could have used them for um, timber. I destroyed all of them. So when these stories were coming in this morning, I said, then I also reminded him, I said, you've done so well in the society, in the community. And don't let any external person come in between us, feeding you with lies and that's the lot of illiterates. Illiterate does not mean that you don't go to school. If your behavior is crude, you are an illiterate. Even if you're a university graduate, we have professors who are illiterates, who are not cultured, but they want to foment trouble. I say, count me out of such people. So I enlightened him. By the time we rounded up, even I went as far back as, look, I say snakes were up till now we are living in a state of nature. There are so many open lands in the front, at the back, and around us. All the roads. In fact, my house is in the corner piece. Road at the back, road by the side, road in the front. It's only his compound in his own side that we didn't have a road. I am the only one maintaining the three roads. I'll go to the back of my fence and clean and brush all the compound so that at least it will reduce the influx of snakes. But you can't still prevent them because there are too many bushes around us. And the whole of the street, I made it a point of duty that I spray the whole of the street to make sure that, and what I'm talking about should be like between 300 to 500, okay, maybe about 300 feet length, the whole of the from the front of my house to the junction, because they were all bushes. The construction, I mean the road, when it rains, the road is so bad. Well, people make their little efforts here and there, but I sense that it is more than uh, spade and cutlass or whatever measure. I take greater measures, fill them, do what do you call it, speed breakers to reclaim, to make sure that the roads are, I mean, that we are not cut off from the community, from the main community. I do all that. And do I do them alone to say that, so that people will know that I'm doing something? No. I owe my community a kind of social responsibility. In order not to appear as if it's a show off, I am sure this video will go to quite a number of us in that street. I will invite, oh, let us do this, let us do that, so that we do this one. And I don't force anybody. And I made it clear. If they are willing, jolly good. If they are unwilling, jolly good. What I will do is I will identify what I can personally do, because I cannot leave it open, unattended to. I will do the best I can. And that's how we've been securing the road. Some of us prefer that, okay, on sanitation day, and to me, every day is sanitation. And indeed, the nature of that our road does not, it's not something you can just say, you put bags, cement bags, and not before you finish, the vehicles climb, two vehicles climb the cement bags, and they are all off, and we're back to square one. I don't see the wisdom in that. All the same, when that job is going on, my children will join. I will join if I'm around. Not necessarily doing any major, of course. To God be the glory. Our younger uh, landlords there too, we respect one another. They give me the honor, oh, daddy, go and sit down. It's enough that you even show face. I really enjoy that. I treasure it. And I value them for that. But whatever I can do on my own, if I call you, let us do it, let us do it, and you are not willing, I will do the best I can and keep quiet. Even including this, my neighbor I called when that road was going completely bad. I said, let us do this. But it's like, I know he has been doing it, but maybe he didn't get me right, or maybe whatever. But no assistance was coming from anybody to support that bigger project that could save our road. And I went ahead and did the little I can, which, to God be the glory, I was happy that I did, without troubling anybody and without holding anybody responsible, without grudging. It is my own personal social responsibility. And I do that from time to time, because our overall interest, to me, is more important. Some of them are even saying, oh, just recently we opened a school. They might think that, oh, it's because of the school that they just opened. No, 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 no. That school was only contemplated about 2 months ago, long after that project has been done. It just became an advantage. And who says the school may not even last there, because we still move it out at a point. So when you say, oh, he's doing it because of his school, no, I'm doing it because our overall interest. If only it's a place where people can gather together, people of like minds, there's nothing wrong. The kind of projection I had in mind, and which I've discussed in meetings that we held, is not too much for those of us who are there to buy solar lamps and put on the poles in our street to make it look like we can make London out of that street. But I cannot force anybody, because it's like when you are meeting together, it's so difficult to say you want to raise funds for any purpose. So because of that, I decided to keep quiet, because I hate talking, 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 and no result. We could do that. We could even generate our own electricity. These things are not impossible if we have the meeting of the minds. These are the things that we could do. We can make that our road and grade it and do it well, such that forever flood will never disturb us anymore. But those are good visions. But to implement it, where you are many, a majority are, they don't see the need for it, or they are waiting for the government, or they are doing something, whatever. It's a different thing. We have different have different views, but we must respect ourselves. So I resolved to doing whatever I can do without quarreling with anybody. Now, in at the back of my house, There's a space of land that is far, even about 3 or 4 buildings away from my house at the back. I'll go there because of the bush. I maintain that bush because I'm using it for agric and something. But goats of this world and thieves of this world will not allow that project to prosper. In spite of that, I still go ahead and make sure I scrape it all the time so that snakes and other dangerous animals will be put at bay. They will stay away because these things don't like clean places. These are the things that I do personally in the interest not just of myself, but in the interest of the entire neighborhood. That project that I said I did last, thank God, it was only one man who contributed 10,000 naira towards that job. The man was living about 2 streets at the back of away from my house at the back. He saw the work going on, and I mentioned it. I said, Daddy, I will support you. He brought 10,000 naira. That's the only cash relief that I got. And I paid for everything. I'm not saying this for the purpose of showing off, but just to tell you that I'm a man. You see, like I said earlier, if you ask me what is your contribution to the community, I should be able to say this is my social responsibility that I physically carry out to better the lot of this community. I'm I'm very happy with that. So like I said, why do I make this a public video? It's not to show off. It is for us to learn. A little effort here, a little effort there, a little cooperation here, a little cooperation. And I ended up that discussion with him by saying, look, I'm a preacher by the special grace of God. Every day or every now and then I release teachings, preachings. If I am preaching and teaching those things and in practice they call me for meetings I can't do and contribute to the development I can't do, and then I'm just always the odd man out. I'm a useless pastor. I'm not worthy of being emulated if I live that kind of life practically. I'm a chief by the special grace of God, therefore a community leader. Thank God also that in that street we have at least two chiefs, myself and another very brother, dear brother too, who is a chief. Our role is to ensure that there is peace in the community. Our role is to ensure that all is well in the community. Our role is to ensure that there is development in that community. Ours is to set good examples for other people to follow so that when we are there, people will say, okay, there is the presence of leadership. Chief, when you are made a chief in your community, it is a call to leadership, a call to responsibility. We should be able to be in the front and others follow. That's my belief. We are so blessed. And I pray that many more people will become chiefs there. But take note, if you are made a chief, you are asked to come and take responsibility for the rest of your life. And so you must live by good example. By the special grace of God, as my very dear brother and neighbor mentioned, said, I'm a lawyer by the special grace of God. My own lawyer is not to make life difficult for people. Is I am an officer in the temple of justice. I am to do justice to my community. If I say I'm a lawyer, and then I carry my wigs and begin to make noise, the lawyer has come, the lawyer is rubbish. And they say, come and do road repair. And then I don't want to. And I begin to quote the law. Foolishness. I'm not like that. Whatever you ask, you hear me say in my preachings and teachings, there are things that I do, not for anything. Look at now. When this challenge came this morning, I was able to say, this is what I did, and this is my vision for the entirety if all of us will cooperate together. Did I not say so? It's not to boast, it's to say that I ask myself, what can I do to benefit my people, starting with my neighborhood? And I consider all those ones that I'm doing as self service, social responsibility, my social responsibility to my neighborhood. If I ask you not to steal and you are stealing, and ask you not to steal, I'm stealing. Now, I think with this video, we all will learn that we have social responsibilities to our immediate community. We have social responsibilities to our entire extended members of families. We have social responsibilities to the larger community. We have social responsibilities to the Church of God. We have social responsibilities to Nigeria, if only to behave well so that the name of Nigeria will not be dragged in the mud. We cannot be criticizing the government. We cannot be criticizing the leader, the Oba. We cannot be criticizing, and when it is our turn to do something, we don't do it. Many of the bad roads we have in our communities can be maintained by those communities if each house will construct the gutter in front of his house or her house. You do your own, I do my own, like that. We join. We won't experience flood. And if all of us cooperated together and say we want to grade our road, I appreciate the effort of people that came together recently to attract a grader to come and grade part of it. Though I'm told now part of the grading has negatively impacted the road, but don't worry. Before the next rainy season, God helping us, we will find a way of resolving it so that the road will not be swept away and becomes a gully again. And I think my neighbors who are hearing this should please bear that in mind. Whenever I'm ready to do anything, I will call as many as I can call. Whether I get the response, positive response or not, doesn't prevent me from doing the little I can do. It's just that it would have been better if we all contributed together. We can do more and better jobs than what an individual can do. That has always been my appeal. To you, my listener, what are you contributing to your immediate neighborhood? What are you contributing? Or are you the type that when you come home, you now say, these people, the road is bad and nobody is doing it. You didn't even initiate the effort to say, let us do it. Or you are invited. Now, my friend that we talk about now, that I just mentioned, like I told you, you can't fault him because he has contributed so much. So if this time around he's unwilling to, it does not mean that he will not do again when he's willing. Everybody knows, you know, life life is not straightforward like that. There will be a period that you have and you can afford so much. There is a period that even when they are doing 1 naira, it may be something big for you. But when you have it at the back of your mind, you wait again for the period of surplus and you come back and begin to contribute to the society. So I put I considered what transpired this morning as me being in the office of EFCC, or I standing before the auditor in an organization. On a closing note, there was a time in my organization, very big international organization, and the auditors came. You know, when auditors are coming, in some departments, fear, panic, everything, people will be. I was so ready. Indeed, I can explain anything to and the initiatives I took to have proper records of everything so that anytime, because I always prepare as if the auditors will come today. And I prepared everything when the people came. Before they asked for this one, this is the answer. Before they asked, I created some other records extraordinary that makes life easier and makes everything simple for them. By the time they were through with the um, auditing, the leader of the the leader of the audit team said, "Ah, Mr. Omogoyega, we've never seen a department like this since we have been auditing organizations." Commended me because I was the head of the administration. Every minutest detail, every expenditure, the receipt must be there. Everything and in proper order. There's no question that they are looking for one record. That's still the habit that is with me till tomorrow. Don't think that I forget any minutest detail about anything that I'm doing. Don't think so. I'm a man of records. I keep records as if the auditors are coming, or as if I am before the EFCC. I told you I've been to the EFCC's office before. Were they able to find anything? No. EFCC is not a place to fear if your hands are clean. Maybe some people are sitting down now, governors sitting down together and say, let EFCC never come to visit our state. What is the meaning of that? If your hands are clean. If your hands are clean, what is in your record that you cannot bring out and say, this is how we did it, this is how to do it, and you are holding a position of trust for, and you don't want to be accountable. Some even went as far as going to court to say that the FCC has no local standard to do anything, and they should never, and that the law created. You see how the evil is manipulating the good intentions of the government to for hold people accountable. Don't you see how the governors are manipulating even when the Supreme Court gives judgment that say all the monies coming to local government should come to them directly. What is happening now? We are seeing what is happening. Governors defying Supreme Court judgment, looking for a way around because they are used to milking the people. And if you get to the local government, they are toothless bulldogs. You give them peanuts and then they keep silent. Nothing is happening. All these roads that we are doing, is it not the work of the local government to do it? But we have to take it upon ourselves and be doing it. The supply of electricity to our streets had to be handled by individuals, including everything, pole, wire, everything, pay for the labor, and we finish. The NEPA, it became NEPA's property. Even if you don't pay your money on time, they will cut the light. Thank God, I have no room for owing any money. That's an example. No water. Everybody sinks his own borehole or dig a well. Is it not a time that government wanted to be taxing people who have wells in their compound in Lagos before the people rioted? Have they not made life difficult or nearly impossible now for those who wanted to switch from the erratic power supply to solar? Have they not made it too expensive for people to afford now? The little just to light just light, this light that is up here, that cost me about 50 something thousand naira 3 years ago, now sells for over 200,000. The same stuff, because the government has cornered the suppliers and the manufacturers. They have given heavy tariff on them. So they are pushing that back to us. So those who could even afford could no longer afford, putting everybody back into the state of nation. This is how the life is. So, oh, you can be going on and on and on. Be responsible in your community. God bless you. Please remember to share this message. Pass your comments as you deem fit. Let me seize this opportunity to say to my neighbors that God bless you. If you notice anything that we need to correct anywhere, let's call one another, as my friend has done, my neighbor has done. And with the explanation, don't allow any intruder to come between you and your next door neighbor. You landlord should be so united that don't allow your tenants to give you information that is based on bias. And do everything to make sure that your compound is neat, it is natural. Appreciate the efforts of your neighbor too in whatever he's doing. Like I did say, all the things that are littering and disturbing, if there is a little bush here and there, maybe on the fence or whatever, already, if my attention has been drawn to it, I'm not at home. I don't spend in the entire year, I don't spend a quarter fully at home. But up to the point, just 5 days before this complaint, I've asked my people to use chemical to spray the entire compound, and it has been done. And the photograph, the video was sent to me. I Whether I'm at home or not, the compound is maintained, because I hate all these things. We can't stop snakes from moving around because